Tonight, you could plan an entirely new life. Clean the desk, buy the notebook, choose the program, write the routine. Tell people that this time you are serious. And before you have done a single difficult thing, you can already feel transformed. Then morning comes, and the plan meets the person who has to live it. That is the moment that matters. Are you building discipline or performing it? There is nothing wrong with sharing a goal. There is nothing weak about asking for support. The right accountability can make action more likely. But accountability serves the work. Performance replaces it. The question is whether being seen as committed supports the next action or starts substituting for it. Does the announcement move you toward the work? Does the preparation remove real friction? Does watching someone else work help you begin your own? Or, for a moment, do you get to experience the identity without paying its price? This is not a demand that you disappear from society. It is a demand that you stop requiring an audience for the beginning. Because the life you say you want will be built during hours that nobody celebrates. You know the ritual. Sunday night. The week behind you feels wasted, so you design a stronger version of yourself for Monday morning. This person wakes early, trains every day, eats perfectly, reads, studies, works without distraction, sleeps on time, never hesitates, never gets tired. You create a schedule for someone with no difficult days, no competing responsibilities, no emotional weight, and no history. For a moment, the plan feels clean. Your real life does not. That is why the plan can become an escape from the disorder you were supposed to confront. Monday arrives. Maybe you execute. Tuesday requires more effort. By Wednesday, one part of the system breaks. You sleep late, miss the workout, open the phone, avoid the task, eat what you said you would not eat. And because the plan was built as proof of a new identity, one failure feels like the collapse of that identity. So you abandon the week. You promise to begin again next Monday, next month, after the trip, when work becomes quieter, when your mind feels clearer, when the perfect season arrives. Then you perform the beginning again, a new plan, a new promise. The same evidence, the unfinished task hurts, but it is not the deepest injury. The deepest injury is hearing yourself make another promise and noticing that part of you no longer believes it. You say, tomorrow. A quieter voice answers, we have heard that before. That is the real cost of repeated performance, not just lost time, lost self-trust. A declared identity is easy to love. You can say you are locking in. You can say you are changing your life. You can say you are finally becoming disciplined. Those words offer a clean picture of the future. They let you feel separated from the person you are tired of being. But a picture is not proof. You can own the equipment without training, arrange the books without studying, and build the perfect workspace without producing anything inside it. You can spend an hour learning how to focus while avoiding the 20 minutes of focus your life actually requires. Preparation is not the enemy. Useful tools reduce friction. A coach, friend, partner, or group can keep you honest. The test is simple. Did this make the work more likely, or did it only make you feel like the kind of person who works? That question is uncomfortable, because most performance is not a deliberate lie. You mean what you say. The desire is real. The frustration is real. The plan may be sincere, but sincerity is not reliability. You can desperately want a different life and still protect every habit keeping the old one alive. You can care deeply and still avoid the hour. Discipline does not ask whether your intention was beautiful. It asks whether the action occurred. Your life cannot be constructed from intentions alone. Character is not the description you give yourself. It is the pattern your private behavior keeps producing. So if your trust in yourself has weakened, do not repair it with a larger promise. Repair it with smaller evidence. Choose one standard, not 12, one. Make it important enough to matter and small enough to survive an ordinary difficult day. Not the imaginary day when you wake up inspired, but the real day with work, traffic, children, deadlines, low energy, uncertainty, and a mind ready to negotiate. Maybe your standard is 20 minutes of writing before social media. Maybe it is studying one lesson at the kitchen table, walking for 15 minutes after dinner, preparing tomorrow's food before you sit down to watch anything, or keeping the phone outside the bedroom. The exact action is yours. What matters is giving it a structure. Choose a time, choose a place, define the beginning. At 7, I sit at the kitchen table and study one lesson. After dinner, I put on my shoes and walk for 15 minutes. When I enter the bedroom at 10, the phone stays outside. Now the promise is no longer waiting for a mood. It has an address. That address matters because negotiation thrives in vagueness. I will study more can be postponed all day without ever being clearly broken. I will train when I have time allows every interruption to become a reason. I will use my phone less asks you to judge yourself while the temptation is already in your hand. A defined appointment closes those exits. At 6:55, you may still feel resistance. The task may still be dull. The day may still have gone badly. But you are no longer deciding what your whole future deserves. You are deciding whether to sit in one chair for 20 minutes. That is small enough to face honestly. Do not confuse smaller with easy. A modest standard repeated for months will expose more about you than an extreme routine performed for 3 days. It will reveal where the friction lives, which excuses return, what your schedule can carry, and whether your environment supports the decision you keep asking it to protect. Now, discipline becomes observable without becoming theatrical. Treat it like an appointment. An appointment is not a declaration about who you are. It is a specific agreement about where you will be and what you will do. Keep a simple evidence record. One mark when the appointment is kept, an honest note when it is not. No dramatic caption, no punishment after a miss, no announcement that you are a new person after 3 successful days. Just a record of reality. This does not mean hiding your progress. If someone helps you follow through, use that support. Let them ask whether the action happened and report the truth. But understand the difference between reporting evidence and announcing an identity. One says, "I kept the appointment." The other says, "Look at who I am becoming." The first returns your attention to reality. The second can pull it toward the reaction. Approval can change the work. You may begin selecting the discipline that can be displayed, the workout that photographs well, the book that signals intelligence, the routine that sounds extreme. Meanwhile, the appointment your life actually needs may be visually unimpressive. Close the extra browser tab, read the difficult page again, go to bed on time, prepare the simple meal, open the document you have avoided, make the uncomfortable call, do the rehabilitation exercise you were prescribed. A serious life contains thousands of actions that would make terrible content. That is part of their strength. They were not designed to attract attention. They exist to move your life forward. And this is how self-trust returns. Not through one heroic day, but through repeated agreements between your words and your behavior. You said you would begin at 7. At 7, you began. You said you would do 20 minutes. You did 20. Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody applauded. But another piece of evidence entered the record. Your word is becoming credible again. Then, eventually, you will miss. A meeting runs late. A child needs you. You become ill. You misjudge your energy. Or maybe there is no noble explanation. You simply choose comfort. You avoid the work. You miss. This is where quiet discipline faces its real test. The performer treats failure as a threat to the identity. If the image cannot remain perfect, the entire project feels ruined. So another spectacle begins. A harsher plan, a public confession, a new starting date, another promise that everything changes tomorrow. But reliable people do not need a ceremony to return. They examine what happened. Was the standard realistic? Was the time poorly chosen? Was the environment filled with avoidable friction? Did a genuine responsibility intervene? Or did they simply refuse the discomfort? Tell the truth without turning the truth into a weapon. If the plan was badly designed, adjust it. If life demanded your attention elsewhere, accept that. If you chose comfort, admit it clearly. Then return at the next opportunity. Do not hate yourself, and do not pretend the miss did not matter. Do not wait for Monday to perform another beginning. Discipline is not the ability to maintain a flawless streak. It is the ability to resume without needing a new identity first. One missed appointment is information. Repeated misses are more information. Study the pattern, change the conditions you can change, and return. This is why the evidence record is not a verdict on your worth. It is a diagnostic. It shows whether the promise fits your life, whether the cue is clear, and whether you are repeatedly surrendering at the same point. Its purpose is not to shame you with an unbroken chain. Its purpose is to remove the stories that keep you confused. Calm recovery is part of the standard. You rebuild self-trust by noticing the distance between your promise and your action, telling the truth about it, and shortening that distance again. Quiet discipline is not isolation. It does not mean rejecting help, affection, community, or celebration. It means the work no longer depends on being witnessed. You may share the result. You may work beside other people. You may ask someone to hold you accountable. But applause is no longer the engine. Your standard is. That matters because much of life is outside your command. You cannot decide whether people understand your direction, how quickly the result appears, whether the opportunity arrives, or whether an emergency interrupts the hour you protected. What remains yours is how honestly you prepare for that appointment and how you return when life interrupts it. That sounds small. It is not. A life is not changed in the announcement. It is changed in the appointment. The hour you prepared to protect. The temptation you plan to refuse. The return you make after the mistake. The ordinary repetition you attempt while your emotions offer convincing reasons to delay. So choose one standard now, not the standard that would impress someone, but the one your real life needs. State the action, choose the time and place, then reduce it until it can survive a difficult day without becoming meaningless. Record what happens honestly. Tomorrow, keep the appointment. Do not ask one action to transform your life. Ask it to become evidence. Then, give that evidence time to accumulate. If you miss, tell the truth. Correct what needs correcting, and return without spectacle. You do not owe social media a daily performance. Keep honest accountability where it helps the work, and let evidence come before identity. Let the habit become less interesting to describe and more consequential to live. You are not trying to look disciplined anymore. You are teaching yourself that when you give your word, someone dependable is listening. You. Lock in quietly. Let the result make the introduction.